Hi everybody, this is Miss Faina. Today we're going to be going over the review, so I hope this helps. So here we go. Slope-intercept form of a line, what that looks like is y equals mx plus b. Point-slope form of a line, that's that y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Okay. Let's see. If we have the inequality signs that have no lines underneath, so the first two, that's where we have a dotted or a dashed line. When we have lines underneath it, we have a solid line. Okay, now we have to remember how they open. Okay, so based on how it opens, how we shade. Based on how it opens towards the y, that determines how we shade. If it opens away from the y, like this first one, we shade below. If it opens towards the y, like the second one, we shade above. Again, if it opens away, we shade below. And if it opens towards, we shade above. Okay. Next, we have the Hoy-Vux. Remember, Hoy stands for horizontal line. Oops. Okay, remember, horizontal lines go from left to right. They have a zero slope. And it looks like y equals a number with no x in the equation. Okay, on the Vux part, this is where we have a vertical line. Oops. The slope is undefined. And it looks like x equals a number with no y's in the equation. Okay, so that's just a little review to help us get through the review. So let's look at the first question of the review. Which of the following is not a possible solution to the linear inequality graph? Okay, well, let's look. We have the point, so that means we want it to not be in the shaded area because it says not. So let's look. Negative 6, 0, that's right here. That's answer choice A. That is in the shaded area, so we don't want that one. Negative 4, 2. So we go negative 4 and we would go up 2. That's somewhere over here. Again, that's in the shaded area. That's not what we want. Negative 3, 0 is right here and it's on the line. Well, remember, because it's dashed, that means it's not part of our solution. So that could possibly be our answer. But let's double check that last one to make sure for sure 100%. Negative 8, 0, that's this point right here, which is answer choice D, and that's in the shaded area. So 100% sure B is our correct answer. Again, it cannot be on a dotted line and be a solution. Okay, looking at the next one. What is the equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through the points negative 2, negative 4, and 6, 12. Well, that's where we're going to use our calculator. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add in the steps just in case you haven't seen them. So here's the steps for this right here. So I'm going to switch over to the calculator. We're going to plug in 2 for x, negative 4 for y, 6 for the second x, and 12 for the second y. So let's go to our calculator. We go to New, List and Spreadsheets. Okay, we go up here, we double tap, X, Y, and then I had 2, I already forgot the points. It was, oops, let's look at it. 2, -4, and 6, 12. So 2, -4, 6, and 12. Okay, now that I have those typed in, I make sure that I'm not having one of the cells highlighted. I go to Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, Linear Regression, MX plus B. For the X list, I type in X. For the Y list, I type in Y. Oops. Type in Y, and then I hit OK. So my M, which is my slope, is 4. My y-intercept, B, is -12. So when we go back, my slope, M, was 4. My y-intercept was B, and it was -12. We want it in slope-intercept form. That is y equals mx plus b. So I plug it in for x minus 12. I look, and that is answer choice D. Okay. Looking at number 3. Which of the following is parallel to y equals a -3/2 x minus 1 and passes through the point 2, -5? Well, first remember, parallel means the slope has to be the same. Okay, so let's look at our answer choices. We're looking for our slope in this equation is a -3/2. So we want it to be exactly the same. These all look to be in point slope form, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So we're looking for the number in front of the parentheses for our slope. So if I look at A, that has the same slope, a -3/2. If I look at B, -3/2, yep, that works. C is not, it's 2/3, so I can eliminate that one. D, let's look. Yep, that one also has a -3/2. Now it needs to pass through the points 2, -5. That means my x1 and my y1 need to be 2, -5. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in so we can see what it looks like. So I have y minus, I'm plugging in a -5 for y sub 1, equals my slope we said was a -3/2 because we want it to be parallel, times x minus, and I'm plugging in 2 for x sub 1. Well, remember, we can't have a double negative like we do here. So a double negative turns into a positive, and everything else stays the same. So which answer choice looks like this? So we want y plus 5. B is y minus 2, so they just switch the x and the y. We don't want that one. And D says y minus. We don't want it to say minus. We want it to say plus. So my correct answer is A. Okay, looking at the next one. What is the equation of the line graphed? Well, this C is a slope. D is a slope. So we can eliminate those two answers because they're not equations. Now, this is a vertical line, which leaves us, if we're looking at the Hoy-Vux, okay, because it's a vertical line, we want to look at the Vux, which means it's an x equals equation, which means my answer is A. Okay, looking at the next one. Julie started out with $50 in her bank account. She deposited $20 each week. Write an equation to represent the balance in her account after X weeks. Well, how much is she starting with? She's starting with $50. She started with $50. Remember, our y-intercept is the starting amount. So $50 is our starting amount. Now, how much is she depositing each week? Well, she deposits $20 each week. Remember, each is a key word for our slope. Each per rate of change. So because we're depositing, that means we're adding money to our funds, which means it's positive. Okay, and then I just got to plug it in slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. Well, my m is 200, x plus 50, my starting amount. And that's it for that one. Looking at the next one. What is the equation of the line containing the points 5, -4, and having a slope of 3/4? Well, it looks like it wants it in point slope formula. So we have y minus y sub 1, which is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. I have my points x sub 1 and y sub 1, so I'm just going to plug it in, and my slope, which is m of 3/4. So I have y minus, I'm going to use -4, is equal to my slope of 3/4 times x minus 5. Okay, I see that I have a double negative right here. We don't want a double negative, so two negatives make a positive, but only in the math world. And that's all I can simplify, so let's see which answer choice matches it. So let's look. Well, we could eliminate D because D has the wrong slope. If we look at answer choice B, they put the slope with the y and the -4 as a slope, so we can eliminate that one. That's a goofy one. Now what we need to pay attention to is the signs. Well, we know that we want the y plus 4 and we want the x to be -5. They're both plus signs, so we can eliminate that one, which leaves me with answer choice C. Moving on to the next one. Function notation. This has been on every test. You would think we'd be pros at it by now. We're working on it, I know. So, given the equation g of x equals a -2/5 times x minus 10 plus 3, what is the value of g of 15? Remember, this tells you that x equals 15. We're just going to change this x to the number 15 and plug it in our calculator. So I get a -2/5. I'm going to plug in 15 minus 10 plus 3. And I'm going to go straight to my calculator to type this in. Okay, so let's see what we get. Calculator. I'm just going to go home, calculator. Okay, so I have a -2/5 times 15 minus 10, close the parentheses, plus 3. Looks like that. I press enter. My answer is just 1. Answer is just 1, so equals 1, which is my answer, so I put it in the box. Okay, not too bad. Again, any number that's in the parentheses is telling you that's your x value, and you're just going to plug it in and then type it straight into the calculator. Okay, looking at our next one. Which of the following correctly represents the function, let's see, -4y is less than or equal to 14x plus 8. Well, first things first, we need to solve for y. Y is not by itself. We need to get y by itself. So I'm going to draw a line through my inequality sign. It looks like I just need to divide by a -4. Okay, and when I do that, something happens because anytime you divide by a negative, the inequality sign flips and opens up the other way. Okay, 14x divided by -4, that's a negative. They're both divisible by 2, which leaves me with 7 over 2x. And then 8 divided by -4 is -2. Okay, so looking at the inequality sign, it tells me that I should have a solid line. So I can eliminate answer choices A and D because they're dotted lines. And if it opens up towards the Y, it should be shaded above. Okay, so how we do that is I'm going to look at answer choice B. I put my finger on the y-intercept, and if I go up, that's above. That's the area I want shaded, which is what is shaded, so my answer is B. Okay, if you look C, you would have to go down. That would be below, so C does not work. Okay. Number 9 is a throwback. So which of the which set of ordered pairs does not represent y as a function of x? Remember, that just means x's cannot repeat. But because it says does not, we're looking for x's that do repeat. So let's look. Answer choice A, I have -3, 0, 6, and 8. Nothing repeats. Answer choice B, I have -18, -6, +18, -6. Ooh, those are repeating. That could be our answer. Let's look. At answer choice C, we have -5, -4, 8, and 12. Nothing repeats. And then answer choice D, we have -7, -4, +18, +19. None of those repeat. So my answer choice is B. Okay, that's the tricky one where you have to look for the opposite of it. Okay, so not a function. Remember, x's can't repeat because it does not represent that. We want the x's to repeat. I know, it's a bit confusing. Okay, and last and final question. Function f is graphed. Which of the following statements is correct? So we're looking for the true one. The function has a 0 at -4. Well, what does that mean? Remember, 0 means x-intercept. And is it crossing the x-axis at -4? Well, that looks to be true. Let's double check the others to make sure. The function is decreasing. That means going down, which, yeah, it's going down. But it's saying it has a slope of -2. Well, if it's going down, the slope is negative, but let's look. So I'm going to pick 2 pretty points right there. My rise over run, I go down 1. So that's a -1, and I go over 2. So that would leave me with a -1/2, which is not -2. So that answer choice does not go together. I just noticed the answer choices are out of order. Silly us. Okay, B, I guess. Let's see. The function represents a quadratic function. Remember, quadratic functions are the U shape. We haven't seen any of those yet, so that's not it. The linear function has a y-intercept of -4. Y-intercepts on the y-axis, that's this point right here, and that's at -2. So nope, it's at -2. So that doesn't work, which means my correct answer has to be answer choice A. So I hope this helped you with the review if you're struggling with it or if you had any questions. If you're still struggling, please reach out to your teacher before the test so they can help you get better prepared for the test. Other than that, have a great day, Rangers, and good luck on the test.